if you've got millions of people who are staying home and not participating in the economy, is giving them a little more money going to change their consumption decisions? Are they suddenly going to decide to go on a plane trip to Italy and see some art, because they feel a little more flush in their bank account? Of course not. So it's the ability of the government and central bank authorities to deal with is quite limited this time. So I think it could in fact be worse than 2008. But resilient communities are going to be ones that find ways to solve basic human problems using less energy and less materials. That will be the case whether we plan for it or it's forced upon us. The communities that do that will succeed better than the ones that insist on trying to maintain business as usual as long as they possibly can. Another aspect of community resilience really has to do with psychology and group psychology. How much are the people in the community thinking together, working together, meeting together, trusting one another? That's really the most important thing. To what degree do the members of the community interact with each other in an attitude of trust and cooperation? And in that regard, there are some worries. We've seen increasing political polarization here in the United States and in other countries, and that's tearing apart that fabric of trust that's really important in order to weather periods of retrenchment and collapse. The other thing is the coronavirus itself. People's response to it, of course, is to pull back from social interaction. Social distancing is the phrase that we're hearing. That's necessary as a response to the pandemic. But of course, it keeps people from interacting with one another in churches, at arts events, in community celebrations of all kinds, political events, you name it. And all of these are really the fabric of the community. So the over the short term, over the next few months, the pandemic is going to be tearing and ripping at that fabric in ways that are not good for building community resilience. So I think it's really important that we find ways, whether it's through computer networking and social media or whatever, to maintain those ties as much as possible and support local arts and community events in maybe in new ways, find new ways of doing that. But if we just retreat into our little safe zones, then I think it's going to be very hard to rebuild those institutions and those bonds of trust.